So I know one of the topics we wanted to talk about was inventory limits. I'm willing to bet that anybody watching this webinar right now saw probably a significant cut on their inventory limits, probably around the end of October. Beginning in November, and we scratched our head because we're going into the biggest selling season, and then we got this pretty significant cut. But essentially, as I said, you probably saw those big inventory cuts, and I'm sure many of you tried to file tickets to get that inventory increased. And I am willing to put some money up that says that there are very few of you that did get any kind of increase for it. I've tried many, many times. I did have an instant with one of our clients this time where we were able to get the increase. But the thing to understand is that Amazon is a data-driven company. So just making a request, we want to go from this amount to this amount, is not going to get it for you. And even if you say, well, I've got a lightning deal coming up they still will rarely give you that increase. Now, in my client's case, we were moving, we had a small amount of our inventory in FBA, and we were going from about 7 items up to about 40 45 going into FBA with with tens of thousands of units being sold per month, but with only the ability to ship in about 10,000 units total. And essentially, as I said, data. So I pulled reports that showed how much we were selling on a monthly basis of the items. And gave Amazon that data. They knew what I had. I made a request higher than what I wanted. It's probably a little back and forth with that. And albeit they didn't grant me what I was asking for, just the fact that I got the increase was significant, and it helped out. And we were able to quickly get to, we're just about at the number that I requested, and it's been over about a 45 day time period. So it's happened pretty quickly, but it is because I provided them with that data, showing why we needed it. That's the most critical thing that you can do.
Yeah, a lot of times we see clients that they use too much of their emotion in their response, like, Amazon, yep. I ordered all this inventory. Now you're not letting me send it in. You guys are ridiculous. That's never going to work. So it's better to keep a calm, cool, collected, head and respond in a way that kind of speaks their language. And, Robert, having worked at Amazon as I have, it's all about data to them. They don't make many fuzzy decisions. It's all what does the data tell us?
Yep, take the emotion out of it there. So if Amazon could be a robot they absolutely would, because it's all about the data there. So data.
So Robert, was there something specific in the communication with Amazon that you felt like pushed it over the edge for them to?
Sure. I think in our case, for this specific client, there were two things. One was the fact that we were going from roughly 7 items to 45 items in FBA. And I showed them that this is what we're getting ready to do with it. And I might have even had some orders ready to go for it, so they knew I wasn't just making it up there, but I had to amortize that over 35 items, and it was just it was very minimal per item because of that there. But they saw that I really was sending inventory into FBA at that point. But the other part to it was, again, providing the data. So in this case, what I did is I didn't do just 1 month the previous months, because especially it was holiday time, promotions going on, so that could inflate it. I did it over 3 months and did an average, and I told them that I made it clear that this is an average per month over 3 months, so they understood that I wasn't playing games, with them. So I think those are the two things that really made a difference, for them with it. So yeah.
Because I will say, I tried. You had shared the tactics with us and your success, and so there were some differences in how we may normally do it. I tried it with a couple other clients, and we were turned down. So, but the difference is that we were not trying to send in new ASINs or new SKUs into FBA, on those accounts. So
sure. But the other thing also consider is your IPI score. There, if you have a low IPI score, in this case we had a good IPI score. I'm willing to bet that if we did not have a good IPI score, even with this data, Amazon would have said no, to us, because they said you're just creating a bigger problem, down the road. You've not built that robust pipeline. And that's the big thing with IPI score, is that Amazon wants you to build that robust pipeline starting from the manufacturing. So make sure you've got orders set with your suppliers, and you've got orders on the road, on the water, whatever. Also, to your warehouse. Then you've got product from your warehouse going into Amazon FBA, and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing to making sales. And if you have that robust pipeline, that's where your IPI score, is going to be higher. I'm fortunate enough with most of my clients, IPI scores are 700 and higher. There, because we worked very hard at getting those. I gave one of my clients a hard time the other day because it dropped down to 798. I was like, "Come on, guys, you got to get me up over 800 here." And they did it. They were at 804 last week, but the threshold it's 450, I think. There, so we're doing extremely well.
I would say that the tactic that you use, though, could be done in a couple other scenarios, right? So one would be, let's say you're overstocked on one thing, it's prohibiting you from sending in another thing. You may have initiated a lightning deal or promotion or something, but that sales data hasn't kicked in to show them sales movement. So their allocation is going to be limited, but you could then prove that, hey, this bestseller item is going to go out of stock. It would be a bad experience for the customer, and it really needs more inventory. It's just my total account level is constrained. I already have a plan. I'm doing something about it. Or it could be related to an out of stock issue or something where that the ranking that you're at now because of an out of stock or a suppression or something is prohibiting the sales velocity from being counted properly. But that it's climbing and it's going to get there faster than what their algorithms kind of showing them from historical performance. So the key here is spell it out using data and make sure that you make it clear that they're, that you've already thought about all these things. If you're overstocked on another item, are you doing return? Are you doing a return initiative? Are you doing promotion? If there's simply not enough because of an algorithmic decision that's flawed due to suppression, out of stock, seasonality, spell it out for them. Give them the stats to help paint that picture, because Amazon's going to let 99% of it be data driven, but there are mistakes that they make, and they don't want to be making the mistakes either. So if you point it out to them, and ultimately you saved a bad customer experience.
Yeah. And one of the key things you said there, Steve, is when using that example of the lightning deal, and if it's something you're overstocked, have the lightning deal set up already. You can even then put the link in the case that says, here, you can see I have the lightning deal set up, and here's data that shows the last time I ran the lightning deal, I sold this much inventory. And so in 2 weeks from now, I will sell that same amount. It's going to get me below. However, right now, at this very moment, I'm out of stock, or I'll soon be out of stock on this other item. The key is it's data. Give them the data, give them good reason, take the emotion.
Consistency too, yeah. And I'll add to that I was helping out a client one time with some inventory issues, and it wasn't the same as this, but speaking to an FBA specialist, one of the things that she said to me was, when you look at the FBA shipments that you have going into Amazon, look how many times you've got working shipments that you haven't shipped in, or you have a shipment that you canceled or deleted. And she was basically saying to us, it looks like you're kind of all over the place and you're not very organized with your shipments into Amazon. So they wanted us to kind of not do the working part in the Amazon interface, work on it somewhere else. And then whatever you put into Amazon, make sure you're going to ship what you're telling them you're going to ship. So it's consistency kind of across the board there with the numbers. So don't give Amazon a reason to find something on your account and go, yeah, these guys aren't very organized, and I have doubts about this decision. The last thing I would throw in though too is, Robert, do you still believe that? I know when we dealt with this in years past, when you had a working shipment that hadn't been set up to go to ship yet, but it was still in working, do you still believe that Amazon's counting that inventory against your account?
They are, for sure.
Yeah.
So that'd be something I would call out too, to our listeners, is go in, and if you have working shipments, cancel those or remove those, because that's counting against your inventory allocation.
If you're not going to fulfill them, yeah.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, it's all based on sales velocity on and off of Amazon if you are using multi-channel fulfillment too. So let's say you're selling 1,000 units a week on your website, and Amazon is selling 1,000 units a week on Amazon. If you were to direct multi-channel fulfillment orders over to Amazon and show them that you're actually moving 2,000 units a week, that would artificially inflate your inventory levels. So you could do that, in a bind, intentionally drive additional sales there, and that would cause them to algorithmically, automatically increase your inventory allocations. Now, I don't think you guys talked about the new program yet, have you?
No, I was going to say it's a good segue to talk about that, Steve.
So this is something you all need to know. In March, Amazon's rolling out a new program in which there's no longer weekly inventory allocations, but monthly inventory allocations. And it's going to be based on cubic feet, not units. They're going to tell you estimated units, but it's actually going to be driven based on cubic feet usage. And they're going to put in an arbitrary allocation, but then allow you to bid or pay additional amounts in order to get additional space in Amazon's FBA. And basically, it's all kind of new, but essentially, you will not pay more than other people for the space, and if you do sell the inventory that you're telling them you'll sell, you earn credits back. So essentially, there's like a credit system that allows you to earn enough credits to compensate for the cost that you were willing to pay. So if you really believe, hey, I can sell this many units, it now gives you a chance to get inventory in there. The problem is it just rubs everybody the wrong way that Amazon is now monetizing this in a way that is a profit center. So they may intentionally give you lower storage and force you to kind of play their game. So we'll see how it all pans out. I hope that's not the case, but it's certainly a risk that you should be aware of and you should be planning for.